Good day, and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Today, we're going to talk about When the Crown Gambles, coming right up on Drew's Book Reviews. Alright, so before we get into When the Crown Gambles, don't forget to join me down on my Discord and my Bookstagram. I'll have those linked below. And you can join me over there. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday with a focus on science fiction, fantasy, and the occasional nonfiction thrown in there. Look forward to you joining me over on my Discord and Bookstagram and for your like and comment. So let's get into When the Crown Gambles. Now, this is the second book in the High Council series, When the Crown Gambles. It started off with War in the Fallows. Now, Jahmil Effend were kind enough to send me a copy of these books as an ARC for a honest review, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So thank you so much for sending me your books. That I am really enjoying this High Council series. I actually had the opportunity to interview them and have them on the channel. I will link that below so you could go check that out. We did a live stream with Epic Tales, which I'll link below as well, to discuss the High Council series. So When the Crown Gambles is the second book in this High Council series, and I have to say I really found that this was a vast improvement above and beyond War in the Fallows, and I really thought the writing was so much better. We explored more of the world. We got a better understanding of the High Council and these ascended kings that are worshipped as gods, and the growing divide between the different religious groups within this world, which I just thought were done really, really well. I really enjoyed that. One character from War in the Fallows by the name of King Asher, now he's got problems that he has had to face and deal with and try to overcome, particularly between himself and his dad. And there was huge problems in their relationship, which led to Asher being a very essentially angry and bitter individual. And I really like the progression that we have with this character in this book, and I like the way that started to play out as he's starting to break free from the constraints of his relationship with his father. So part of his plotline has to do with being basically being captured by pirates and being taken to what is known as the Low King, who is also worshipped as a god, but he is a heretic to the High Council, the Council of Gods, with the ascended kings who are worshipped as gods. So him and his followers are viewed as heretics and just heathens and just bad people in general. But King Asher slowly starts to become converted to their religion. And this is a great storyline, I really felt, because not only does Asher have reason to hate his ascended father who sits on the High Council, the great thing about Asher's storyline is he already had a well-established motive for wanting to be separated from his father and to basically move away from him and everything his father stood for and stands for. He wants to be completely rid of him and break those chains. After his capture and leaving to meet the High King and eventually becoming more attuned to the faith and the religion and the beliefs and the ideas of the Low King, of which he's been taken captured of, he slowly starts to convert to that religious faith, which is viewed as heretics by those who worship the High Council. So he had the motivation to break away from his father, and that left him vulnerable to the Low King and his religious faith and everything else with that. So it was a really great storyline. I like how that played out. And Asher is essentially having to make the ultimate sacrifice, which I'm not going to say what that is. I will not get into the details because I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't yet read it. But part of this newfound religion is going to require quite the sacrifice from him in order to basically reach his potential. So I'll just leave that at that. But I really like that storyline and how that relationship builds and how that plays out in the end there. One of the other storylines that I was really enjoying is, basically these crusades where there's the followers of the High Council and they are on a crusade against the heathens and those that worship the Low King and view him as the one god. People are rounded up and put into these, corralled into these barns and these camps where they're basically executed and destroyed. It is a campaign, a war against those who don't believe in the High Council, who view them as not gods at all, but just men. And of course, if you read the first book, you know that these gods are just ascended kings and queens. There's a little more detail on that, definitely more to it than that. But at the end of the day, that is a key component of the faith that they have with these gods and the High Council, and this division between those that worship the High Council as gods and those that worship the Low King as the single, all-encompassing god, essentially, in this world. So this comes to a head, and we have the different kings and queens of the world are having to pick sides in this conflict until, of course, it all breaks out into a massive conflict and war and destruction, and, you know, it's war. People die. People die. And at the end, it's just a messy, bloody confrontation. But it was well done. I think that the story is more fleshed out. I feel like the world is more developed. The characters are more developed. You know, we have King Aaron, who, honestly, he get a bit mopey at times, which kind of drives me nuts. It's like, oh man, it's just... stop it. You know, be the leader you need to be. But he is definitely having some development there as well, and I like where that's going. I think that he has developed more in this book as far as that character goes as well, into his leadership. And just everything about this book is a vast improvement above War in the Fallows. And I am really enjoying this. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads because, you know, it's not perfect. There are some things that I would have liked to see fleshed out a little bit more, so to speak. King Aaron's character, you know, I would have liked to see a little more fleshed out there, but definitely more so than the previous book by far. And both Asher and Aaron being the main focus of these books, I think they've done really, really well. King Mary, honestly, or not King Mary, Queen Mary, honestly drives me up the wall with her character. She's, let's just say, it's a very lustful character. And she definitely is an interesting character, but you know, I'd like to see more to her than just that aspect of her character, and hopefully maybe as further books go, because I know this High Council series isn't finished yet, maybe we'll see more of that, and I would love to see that. But you know, move beyond her basically sleeping with a different guy every night. Let's really focus on what she is as a queen, as a person beyond that. I'd like to see that more developed. But overall, great character development in this book. It's definitely improved upon War in the Fallows a lot. One of my favorite aspects of this book is the ending, right at the very end. Surprise plot twist. Honestly, I feel like I should have seen it coming. It all just falls into place and makes sense, both with the character's name and everything else that had been going on and leading up to this between both books, The War in the Fallows and as well as The Crown Gambles. I love the ending there. I love how that just kind of thrown in at the end there, and it's just one of those jaw-dropping moments like, whoa, what, really? That is awesome. I love that aspect of it, and definitely one of the reasons why I'm giving this book a high rating. I can't wait for the next book in the series so that I can see how that develops, where it goes from there, and what happens with it. Great ending. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to give any spoilers, but it really was a fantastic ending, and I really like that about this book. Overall, I'd say this High Council series is looking really good. I'm really enjoying it. When the Crown Gambles by Jahmil Effend. Great sequel to War in the Fallows, and considering how much this improved above War in the Fallows, I really hope to see the next book match that as far as improvement. I'd be really interested to see how that goes, and I really hope I'll have that opportunity. So thank you so much again, Jahmil, for sending me a copy of your book. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next book in the High Council series, and as always, you know, those are my thoughts on When the Crown Gambles. Great read, definitely recommend it. I'll link to the Amazon where you can buy it, or your local indie bookstore may have a copy. I don't know, but I'll link to Amazon where you can buy it here. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join me on the Bookstagram and Discord, which will also be linked below. And, you know, as always, until next time, keep on reading. Bye.